Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
The Daily Compliance News for November 14, 2023, the Supreme Court edition. We begin with that story as the U.S. Supreme Court has issued its first ever rules of ethics and code of conduct because of the corruption of current Justice Clarence Thomas. He can't seem to keep getting people to pay for things for him and not pay taxes on it. So the court's legal counsel prepared a draft, which was revised with the advice of Samuel Alito. Imagine that. Wow. You just got to say, God love the Supreme Court. Next up, from the New York Times, and really no surprise, Nepal is investigating its new airport, which was built by China in its belts and suspenders program. As developing countries weigh the consequences of borrowing from China for major infrastructure projects, anti-corruption officials in Nepal began investigating into the flagship airport. I think when they get in there, they're going to find lots of irregularities. But the New York Times reported that the Chinese company inflated the cost of the project and undermined Nepal's effort to maintain quality control. So, once again, no surprise there. Next up from the Financial Times, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, has hired the law firm Baker Hostetler to review allegations of widespread sexual harassment, inappropriate behavior, and discrimination. In a video message sent to the staff, FDIC Chair Martin Grunberg called the report serious and vowed that the agency would not turn a blind eye. He reiterated calls for staff with evidence of inappropriate behavior to come forward. Of course, no promise that you won't be retaliated against or fired or worse, but what the heck? We're going to look into it. I'm sure we will find that it was just a few bad apples. And to top off today's special news, the law firm tied to the former bankruptcy partner has said they did not know that her partner Elizabeth Freeman was living with the bankruptcy judge who was handling the cases, that it was the lawyer's fault. She didn't disclose it to him. Gee, I guess during COVID, the bankruptcy judge didn't come to any Christmas parties at the firm. That's just unbelievable for the firm to blame the lawyer. How long she was living with him? Well, they don't know because, of course, she didn't tell them. Guess what, guys? That's no defense. Oh, well, that's today's Daily Compliance News.
The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.